What's going on, guys? It's another day in the market. We're going to look over what's going on. It's going to be a hodgepodge of a video. We're going to look at Bitcoin, see what's happening for VGX, and look at a couple more charts. So if you like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I put out daily videos. Don't forget to check out the free stocks and crypto down below, as well as the Discord. It's free to join. Would love to have you. And let's look at the heat map. Now you'll see that we're mostly red. You know, energy materials, oil is definitely green, still pumping, still on that bull cycle. Looking at some of the large cap tech, down 1 to 2%. We're actually going to look at Tesla in a second. I am eyeing an entry. And you know, because of the Fed's likely hawkish stance, and in terms of raising rates even more so, it is pretty apparent, you know, that the Fed's making it obvious that that is their priority. They are going to continue to raise rates. But I do think we will be surprised, and our next CPI numbers are going to be the dictator of where the Fed starts going. If inflation does retrace and CPI comes out higher, breaks that downtrend that it started, that's not going to be good. Now, I did briefly want to mention Bitcoin. You know, over the weekend, we did fall quite a bit. We broke 20,000 and it quickly recovered, now sitting at about 20,200. Just remember that as we approach September, it's very likely we follow this downtrend. We might break out and have a downtrend reversal, and you're definitely going to want to watch it. And zooming in, you know, as we broke that 20,700 finally, we did fall down all the way to about 19,600 and quickly bounced. But you know, this is one thing that's very important in the market, is when you've still got that negative sentiment and yet the price isn't going and making lower lows, those can be some great opportunities for that turnaround. You know, because Bitcoin's last low was in June, and this hit $17,000 area. Hasn't even gone very close to that since. You know, we did touch 19, but you'll see that consistently higher lows, higher highs, and yet still a very negative sentiment. So that's something to think about. Now, going back to VGX, I did show you guys this trend line. We did break it, and I told you guys to watch the 100 EMA as well. Now, once we broke that 100 EMA, we tried to hold above it, broke it one more time, and just haven't even came back over it. We have recently finally bounced over it after being unable to for about 2-3 days. Now, this did touch about 74 cents, and after that point just started creating lower highs and downtrending. I personally think this is gonna probably trade sideways from here as we come up to September and actually get a definitive buyer, but that time is approaching. Now, next up, I did want to talk about a stock, a potential breakout trade, and I did mention this one in the Discord as well as the last video, and you'll see that, you know, we want to break that 615. After that, if we can break 660, it's off to the races. We do have a potential stop here at 550. I'm not in this trade yet. I want to see a breakout of 615, and then I want to see a breakout of 660. I'm not touching it until that happens. And you know, on the inverse, if we do break this 550, it could be a great short, at the very least, all the way down to about 5. Keep in mind, we do have a gap down here. Very possible that we go down and fill it, especially if the market doesn't work in its favor. And if I didn't tell you the name of this one in the beginning, it's MFGP, or Micro Focus International. Next, I did want to bring up Tesla, or TSLA, and this one just had its stock split, now sitting at about 284. Keep an eye on this little uptrend it's been creating. If we break this green line here right around 280, potentially a little under by mid-September, it's very likely Tesla tests some lower levels, and at that point I will be adding to it. I do think right now it's probably good for a DCA, but I'm being patient, and there's always opportunities out there, so I'm taking my sweet time. But just know that I am eyeing Tesla lately, and I will very likely be adding right around 260 if it does reach it. Next up, I want to talk about Bngo stock, or Bionanogenomics, and keep an eye on this yellow line here. This is kind of in an uptrend. It's possible that we break it coming up towards the beginning of September. And just looking at this one, you know, it had a crazy flag pattern here after this run up. Once it broke this, it just continued down. One thing with Bngo, it definitely likes to trade patterns, specifically channels. And just look at this. Over the time I've been watching this one, every time it breaks a channel, continues down, comes up, breaks a channel, continues down, has a little breakout. It literally plays these patterns almost to a T every single time. I mean, look at this one. Break, continue down. Look at this one, a break to the upside, continue to up, a break to the downside, continue down until it's picked back up. I mean, you can definitely play these short-term channels on Bngo. That's one thing you got to look at with some stocks. You know, some will trade more on the EMAs, bounce off EMAs. Some will trade really good on channels. Some won't like to trade with technicals very much at all. So it really depends on what stock you're looking at. Just watch the technicals, see how they play out over time. And sometimes the history of a stock can be a good indicator of what's to come. But I definitely like following patterns on Bngo. Now, I do have another potential pattern for you to watch. It's these green lines here. We're kind of forming this pennant. Watch for a breakout of either direction. Very likely Bngo will follow that direction. But thanks so much, guys. What are you watching today in the market? How have you been feeling lately? Do you think by the end of this year we will be higher than we are now? Or are we going to be lower? I personally do think that the stocks will be higher, and in the end the trend is always up and to the right with corrections along the way, and this is no more than a correction, crash, whatever you want to call it. This is no more than a downtrend until we break out and create a new uptrend, and I will not be missing it. Well, thanks so much, guys, and take it easy.